Many people believe that living off the grid, unplugged from the system, is an extreme way of living and isn't really possible. How do you see this?
To live off the grid, meaning...
Yeah, unplugged from the system completely.
Yeah, I don't think you can unplug completely from the matrix, not at this time. But you can certainly reduce the interaction, which I think is a good thing to do. Because if we take the necessary actions to unplug ourselves more and more from the system, and more of us will do that, the less the system will have validation from us, because the system exists because we validate it. If we stop validating it, the system will completely be gone. So, for example, if everybody decided that there is identify one of the many abusiveness of the system and decide not to participate to that anymore in a collective manner, then the system will have to rewrite the script. Mm-hmm. So if I don't know, everybody in a country stop together to pay taxes, for example, because that tax is too outrageously abusive, the system, what can it do? They had to change, they have to stop that. But if we keep paying the taxes, then the system will keep getting energy and it will create a new taxes even more abusive. I'm just saying an example of taxes, but there can be millions of examples. So, in a way, the key is to collectively reach a point of self-love from which we will not agree anymore to any abusiveness. We will not agree anymore to any illusionary scarcity, illusionary vision of separation. And I think it's a good thing that individually we start to take action in that direction and we start to unplug from the system as much as possible, and so we get more in integrity with our heart. Mm-hmm. So rather than blindly follow the system out of fear because we have to survive, we start to sit in a situation with ourselves, in a situation of more power, inner power, rather than feeling powerless. We start to collect our power at our own speed. We don't have to do anything dramatic, but we start to go towards the direction of being more sovereign, and therefore we start to make changes. So we start to embrace more self-sustainable ideas. We start to not participate to certain situation. Maybe we don't want to validate in, because every time we, for example, we use money, mm-hmm. we vote. So if I buy I don't know, in a grocery that sell GMO food and I buy it, basically I vote. I say yes to GMO, mm-hmm. right? So I unplug from GMO, I stop feeding and validating the idea of GMO, and I look for organic stuff, and I support the organic.
Yeah.
This is just an example.
Yeah, so they're all just little steps you're saying now. But
The amount of step, the intensity of the step, it is based on how much self-love you have accumulated within yourself. The more you have love for yourself, the more you will be equipped to be more daring.
yeah.
If you are in a moment in a period of extreme fear and fragility, then you have to go very slow. Okay, so you start really slow. But it's important is to start.
Yeah.
Because then it will exponentially create a loop of a spiral of more and more and more, and that's what we all need to do. We need to stop to validate what is now the obvious. It is obvious that the news don't tell the truth.
Yeah.
I am fascinated by, despite the obvious, to see so many people that keep believing in the news. It's obvious that there are certain things that are not loving, that are not good. It's obvious. It's right there in front of you. So we need to start to embrace the obvious. And if we don't, is simply because we are afraid of embracing the mystery of life. We are afraid of embracing the unknown. We are cozy in our safety space, and we don't want to be disturbed. I know a lot of people, they don't want to be disturbed with informations that are more organic. Because to embrace those information, it means that they have to change their stuff. They don't want to change. They want to stay there, miserable, but they want to stay there.
Yeah.
Those are the people that most are, they are good people, but they are the one that, are slowing down the process of collective awakening. That's why, in a way, things are, yes, they are getting better, but very slowly, because we have to wait for those that still need to stay in their little shell and still play the little me survival guy that go from A to B and then from B to A and from A to B, from B to A, and follow all the other sheeps, and keep validating a game that is old, is outdated, it's destroying humanity, it's destroying Mother Earth. So these people, they have all my compassion, because I understand that it's fearful, but they need to start to work on their fear and do something about it.
Yeah. And also some people are not changing or not doing anything because they are waiting for a savior.
Yeah, that's still part of the agenda of the system. It's a big propaganda that there is somebody or someone that will come and save them. It's a story that has been thousands of years believed.
Yeah.
We've been waiting for, who knows, the thousands of years ago, we were waiting for Buddha, and then we are waiting for Jesus, and then we are waiting for
Mohammed.
Then we were waiting, hoping that Obama would fix, or the Pope will fix us, and now the extraterrestrial will come and fix our problem. I'm not saying they might come. They might come and fix our problems, but there will be a price to pay, most likely. And the price will be a new matrix, a more sophisticated form of imprisonment based on dependency, most likely on dependency on technology. And so we need to wake up to the point when the Savior comes, we say, well, thank you for your offering, but we really don't need to be safe. We are already safe as we are. actually, maybe we can help you somehow, or maybe we can co-create together, so we can exchange informations, but we don't need you to sit down in the throne of the guru and the savior that save us, because then again we start all over again. Here we go again, another situation that into which we put our life in their hands, and then of course they can do whatever they want. Obviously there are entities that are very positive and loving, and they will not even consider to do such a thing, but we are still in a 3D, 4D dimensional environment in which the level of deception is, here are the best of the best of the best of the deceivers are in this, in our reality. They are really, really good. And so we need, but we are good too. So it's an interesting co-creation, because we are co-creating together, because they, by trying to deceive us in the most astute way, they force us to wake up more. So in a way they are loving us, they are helping us, right? It's all a game. At the end of the game, everything is love. But right now we are just playing a role. So there is the darkness role and the light role, and we are in the middle, and we are dancing left and right, and we are learning a lot, and then eventually we'll pass through.
But some people are living completely off grid, and but do you think it's at this time not a little bit too extreme?
I don't know if it's too extreme to live out of a grid or in the grid. In the grid is quite extreme. Yeah. I mean, the level of extreme abusiveness that you experience by being inside a grid, it's remarkable.
Yeah.
You know, we are becoming robotics. We are becoming sexually distorted. We are becoming filled with toxics, and so I don't know which extreme is more extreme.
Right.
To be completely out of the grid, yes, is an extreme. To be in the grid is an extreme. Maybe something in between for now would be fun to do, so where you integrate part of the grid and you welcome the out of the grid offering, and as you walk through the experience, you change the ratio.
Yeah.
You know. But between the two extremes, maybe I would choose to be out of the grid. I don't think it's necessary. I think it's necessary to be not completely dissociated from the grid, because if you integrate whatever the grid asks you to experience, then you have the ability to transform it. And that's, I think, is the most valuable thing, rather to avoid. You integrate and you transform it. You integrate and you transform it. You integrate and transform it. And you become a master more and more, and you support the correction of what has of our earthly experience.
Yeah, but you said also at some point you just say it's enough, right? And you make the choice just to step out of it completely. So, but when is it enough? Because when you say, well, it's good to integrate, partly still of the world, So I wonder, when do you have enough of this integration and go into, okay, now the choice is
It's enough when you don't have anymore an emotional charge. For as long you have an emotional charge, that experience has value for you, because it means you are still overreacting to it. And so rather than avoiding, integrating it doesn't mean accepting blindly. It means let it happen and transform it with your attitude, with the way how you respond. The way how you respond is the way is what is going to make the big difference here, right?
Yeah.
So integration is changing our way of responding until we don't have any more emotional charge, and now we are free of it, and now we can say enough of that because I don't need it anymore. You know, I don't need anymore to I don't know to indulge in whatever. Now it doesn't come anything to mind, but because I had done it, or I needed to the degree I needed to experience that, I had done it. I'm not angry at it. I don't have an emotional charge, so I don't need to again experience it. I'm neutral. So once I'm neutral, I don't need it anymore.
For example, you said earlier about money. Every time we use money, we validate at some level that we can continue just using money in this world, right? But when we become aware of, well, maybe it isn't even necessary to use money.
Yeah.
So when do you make the choice, okay?
Once you are in that situation where there is no emotional charge about the idea of money, you will be neutral, and so it won't matter anymore if how much money you have or how much money you don't have. Money will not have anymore the power to affect your decisions. You will enjoy money if it's there, and if it's not there, you will still keep enjoying your life, or you will find ways to other creative way to manifest abundance, because the money is just one way to create abundance. There are millions of other ways to create abundance.
So you would still use money then?
Once you are not emotionally engaged with money, then it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Because it's the emotional charge that keep feeding and validate the situation.
And does that apply to everything, as you would say, GMO food? Then it doesn't matter if you eat it or not eat it?
No, once you are you don't have an interest in you don't have an emotional charge to GM food, you won't eat it anymore. You will not eat it anymore. And if you happen to be in a restaurant and they are serving GMO food, you won't freak out. You will say, okay, GM food, all right, let's have a little bit. It's okay, no big deal. But what you will do, you will not validate with your actions and with your choices the GMO food, and same thing with money. Yeah, you will probably still use money, but you will not use money to accumulate money or to get a sense of now I'm more powerful because I have more money, or I'm more important because I have more money, or I am more. you will see, okay, we are in a situation where in a certain situation I still need money, okay, I'll use it, and you will not freak out if the something cost too much or too little, or they steal you $50, or they try to, because I mean, you of course you will try not to avoid those situations, but you will not be emotionally engaged in the drama of it, right? You will just release that, and once you release that, I suspect that money will come and go effortlessly. So whenever you will need money, it will be there. When you don't need money, you don't have money. You know, you will be free. Basically, you are free now. So money doesn't affect anymore your internal sense of freedom. You are free, and either if you have a lot of money or if you have a little money, you feel free.
Yeah, but money is part of the matrix. So at some point you're saying you're still using the tools that the matrix is using.
Yes.
Right.
But you're not validating the darkness that the matrix wants to force upon you with the power, with the idea of money. So the society will not be able to control you anymore with the money. Right now, everybody are controlled by money. Everybody decide based on how much money I have. Oh, I cannot do that because I don't have enough money, or I cannot do that because I am busy making money. But money is always the number one factor. So is completely the boss in your house. Once you are out of that, you are free emotionally of that, then the money will not have the same power or impact. Somehow you will manage to do things because you don't have now this contraction anymore about money. And with no contraction, the synchronicity will operate in a very fluid way. And sometimes, yes, you will use money, sometimes you will not use money. Money is not in you don't even think anymore about money. I have to say, personally, I don't think about money often, once in a while, but I don't think so much about it. I'm not completely free, but I'm not there making choices in order to get money or trying to, somehow it seems like money comes and goes, and I'm always fine. I'm not dead yet. I'm doing fine. I actually have a lot of abundance. Look, I have all kind of equipment here, and in a very nice house, and I'm not thinking about money at all. It's just up in many ways. So with that predisposition, money doesn't have anymore the power, the dominant power the society wants to have on you. And so in that way, you are unplugging. You are unplugging because you decide from a centeredness, from integrity, more than from how much money I have in the bank. Your integrity make the choice. When you're in integrity, the matrix doesn't have any power on you. You become uncorruptible. You cannot be corrupted anymore. So you are free. Somebody says, I give you $10 million, but you have to do this, this, and this, and this. And you say, okay, what is it I'm supposed to do? This I don't like. This is not good. It's not in integrity with my heart. My heart doesn't feel good, and people is going to suffer, and it's not good for humanity. So I don't need those $10 million. Thank you very much. But if you are in a state of fear, even $10 you are willing to go out of your integrity with your heart. You don't question this screen because give me the $10, I need it, right? So that's the emotional charge that we need to let go.